Hi, my name's Helen O'Connor. Some people know me as Eccentrica Bells, and I bring to you today Wirehimo. It's a wire braiding technique using the Japanese Kumihimo boards. This particular board is slightly smaller. It's got narrower apertures at the top there to hold the wires. So today the tools we're going to use are the Kumihimo board, the small one. These are my wire cutters that I'm using today. These are my flat nose Xuron long nose pliers, but you can use any. And these are flat nose Xuron pliers. Again, they are to open the jump rings, so you just need two. And then I've got my long pointed pliers, round nose pliers. And I particularly like these when working with wire. And of course, we can't go far without any wire, can we? So we've got 0.6mm, and this one is gold plated copper wire. We've also got a lovely bead mat here. This is actually can be found on our website at Eccentrica Bells. The other things we're going to need today are just a couple of clasps around the front there of our piece, and we've got some little jump rings, and they're basically all you need to create this bracelet. So we're just going to take our wire and I'm going to take it up to 25 inches. I need 5 of these, so we're just going to snip off one. I'm going to unwind as I go, and I'm going to do 5 of these. So I've got my 5 lengths, and all I need to do now is double it over. And you think, well, why are you doubling it over? I'm doubling it over because when you first start Wirehimo, it's so much easier if you actually use double strands. So that's 2 lots of wire. We're only going to do a 5 braid technique, nothing hard at all. But it just fills in those gaps by having that extra bit of wire, as I'll show you. So I'm just going to cut the ends off there. Lovely. Now, I always leave a tail, and I leave a tail of over about 1.5 to 2 inches, never usually under, and that's for 2 reasons. At the very end, it gives you nice swirls. But also, when you're working with your board, you need something to grip onto, don't we? We all need something to hold on to now and again. So this will give you adequate amount of wire to use as your grip. I'm just cut off a little bit of wire there, and all I'm doing is wrapping that around where I want it to sit. And in this particular case, as I said, it's about 1.5 inches up. Now I've got 2 wires there sticking out. Now you don't really want those sticking in your hand. So what I do is I flatten down the wires, flatten it down until that doesn't move anymore, and that's nice and secure there. And then these little bits here, I just twirl in. Now with the round nose pliers, you can just twirl in like that. Some people do 2 movements like that, and that's perfectly fine. Whatever suits you. And obviously if you've got dexterity problems, you may have to do it 2 or 3 times to get your little loops in there. Then we're going to do our very first couple of little rolls. And a roll is just taking the wire, that little loop at the top there, and we're literally rolling it along that wire. Now I find it easy just to sit it on my finger there and just roll along. And there's one, and I'm going to sit it on this one, roll it along, and there's 2. And all they will do now is be a little flat little area for my fingers to hold on to. You'll have no sticky bits sticking in your fingers, especially if children are working with this. It's ideal really. Okay, so now we know we've got all our strands together. We just take our board. Now if you have got the bigger board, please do use it, but what you'll find is that the gaps between your wires are a little bit wider, so you finish off with a much bulkier braid. As this little board, which is available on our Eccentrica Bells website, is much tighter. It also fits in the hand neater. And these are the type of things that we need when we're braiding and when we're doing lots of wire work. Keep it as simple as possible in the hands. So this just pops through your board. So all I'm going to do is, where they naturally sit, I'm going to separate two of the wires that sit alongside each other and bring them across to the board. Now we're only going to group them into 5. So there's only 2 on each little cutout there, little section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the most important thing here is that each wire is not crossed at all. It actually sat very nicely and happily alongside each other. Okay, so we've got our 5 there. The next thing we're going to do is our placement of our strands, and this is quite important because this is where the balancing comes out. Sometimes people ask me, why hasn't my Wirehimo gone in a straight line? And it's usually because it's not set up on the plate properly or directly opposite to each other, and sometimes it can move. Okay, so this first one at the top here, if you are right-handed, you start with your top left piece, and if you're left-handed, you start with this one here. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to concentrate on this top left set of wires here. Now, what we're going to do is we leave the first section up, and the one next to it comes down, straight down, without twisting, and they go and hold into the bottom of the board. The next one is up, so the next one to it comes down. So the next pair come down the board. So I've literally up, down, up, down, up. So that's all I've done, is space them out. Now we need to realign the board. So we reposition our wires, as you would if you were using any threads, until you're at that stage. So, recap, we got the first one up, down, up, down, up. And that's all you need to know for this section. Okay, so now we've got them all in place, I just want to say, don't worry about the numbers and the letters on the board. We're going to learn a rhythm. This particular rhythm, many people know, and it's a rhyme. And the reason why we use a rhyme is because later on, when we make things like Dave the Dragonfly or Ollie the Owl, when you're making these different things, you actually make them off the board. So you need to know the rhythm and the pattern rather than where the numbers are and where the letters are. So let's start. So as I said, I'm right-handed, I'm going for the left-hand side. So I lift that up, and that gives me an I shape. I call it an I, you can call it anything you like, as long as you remember that this first one comes over to the right. We come to the bottom, the very first one on the bottom there, and we bring that up and it goes to the top. It's easy as that. Now we come to the next one to it, which is the middle one, and we come down with that. The next one, the neighbour, along here, up to where that one was, neighbour, down to where that one was. So all we've done is move each piece. So if you think of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that one comes up as 5. And what you think of is each one is replacing where the last one went. That's all you're doing, is moving them along. Now this eye then comes home. So I'll do that again. So eye, right eye, left eye, sorry, over to the right. Middle up, the middle one down, neighbour up, neighbour down, I go home. And you just repeat that for about, depending on your bracelet size, you can do anything from 6.5 to 8.5 inches in length. So just keep going. Okay, I've come to the end of the board, the end of the wire on the board. So I'm just going to take this now off the board. So you just lift them away from the board, across there, and just slide your square board off. And what you have then is your sections of your wires. So obviously it's all nicely done, and you've got your nice long braid there, still secured at one end and not at the other. And what we're going to do now is just add our clasps. It's as easy as that. So I'm going to unwind the bottom section. We don't need our board anymore. It's flying away anyway. There we go. So open those up. And we're just going to open up our wires now. And you will see that they're still grouped together. And now I'm just going to twist each section around itself so that it gives us a little bit of a structure to then roll in and create something quite nice. So the next thing we do is we take our little jump ring, and this jump ring goes over the middle of the two wires there. We're just going to bring the side wires down out of our way so we can do a little bit better and easier there. I'm taking my round nose pliers, just place them underneath where that ring is. So for this particular one, I'm going to push it away from myself. So I've got the jump ring still attached there, and I've just pushed it away from myself. I'm slipping it in the round nose pliers again, and all I'm going to do now is a wrap loop. So I'm just wrapping those wires around themselves so that that jump ring is kept in place. I'm going to wrap round twice, and that'll give a nice secure piece there. And I've brought them to the front so I know where they are. Now you can just give those a little wrap as well. So we could start with these, we just open them out. So all I've done is use my round nose pliers, bent the wire over, done myself a loop around, and that's secure now. Now I'm going to do the thumb over finger motion, which is just that motion. I'm going to place one wire on my thumb, the other wire on the other finger on the other wire, the opposite wire. I'm going to the base as far as I can, and that's all I'm doing is twisting, going through the middle and up, middle and up. And this will give a really nice twist, a proper twist of the wires. And I'm going to continue with that. Once you get the motion, you can continue all the way up. So I've just taken that to the end there. I'm going to come to my side pieces. I'm going to open those out, and exactly the same. And I carry on doing this now with all the pairs of wires on this side. Okay, so we've got there our twisted ends. We're now going to take our little snippers and we're going to cut our wire down. Now I tend to go for about, oh, let's have a look. Yeah, it's under an inch. It's usually about 3/4 of an inch. They usually give me a nice uniform spiral. Got a little one there, that's fine also. And when I'm cutting, there's no problem. I'm just cutting, holding the end and cutting down. So we've got our twisted ends. Just going to take my round nose pliers. Let's just push those nice and tidily into the corner there. Round nose pliers, take the round nose pliers, and I literally am going to twist under. Now, when you do normal twists, you come in a fraction. But when you're doing Wirehimo, or if you've twisted wire, I tend to come as far to the end as I can, because what tends to happen is they will separate. So try and get as close to the end as you can, just to bring them round. Back now to our rolling technique. So all I do is I'm placing the round sections onto my finger there, and I'm rolling along itself, using my finger as the guide and the hold. Keep doing that on all sides. I'm going to just twist that one round because I want him to come upwards. Just flick the ring out of the way there, the jump ring. And again, this bottom one I think I'll have coming this way. So that's all I'm doing. Okay, so that's that end done. So we come to the other end now and we do exactly the same thing. So I'm just coming now to the end of the last rolling in of the wires. So I've done a neat little pattern. I've done a sort of a butterfly effect really on each end. I'm just going to stroke the wires and run them across my thumb. In later series of Wirehimo, I'll show you how to condition your wire. But for a starter's project, if you've got any sort of wires that are out of alignment, all you do is you go in and you just literally give them a little squeeze and that will pop them back in again. But we will be conditioning and taking them through a drawer plate at another stage. So all that's left to do now is pop 2 jump rings on one side. So we've got the one on ready. So we're going to pop one more on that side. Just going to get my flat nose pliers. Open up my jump ring. And then we're going to get our one end of the toggle clasp and pop that on. Now this one, I'm going to put a little bit of a chain on. So I've got a little chain and I've already got a little jump ring ready for it. So I'm going to take my jump ring, Just loop it through and then we pop it on the end of our jump ring, second jump ring. Close the two together, gives us a little chain. One more jump ring now, pop on. Just opening up my jump ring again, popping on the second part of our toggle, coming down to about the centre of the chain and closing. And there we have our Wirehimo, very first Wirehimo bracelet. I hope you've enjoyed making with me today, and I hope you'll come back again. If there's anything you've seen today that you like, please visit our website, Eccentrica Bells, which you can find at the bottom of the screen there. And I hope you'll all join me again. Thank you.